Hi everybody. So in this video, we're going to look at how we can compare data sets using the mean and the range. So we'll work through a few examples, and if you want to work along with me, you can download this PDF from our website. I'll leave a link in the description below. So for our first example, we're told that year 9A and 9B sit a science test, and their marks are given as percentages in this table. So 9A had a mean of 72 and a range of 18. And 9B had a mean of 68 and a range of 9. We need to state two conclusions we can draw from this data. So when you're given the mean and the range, the two conclusions will be based on who has got the highest average, this is comparing the two means, and who is the most consistent in their performance, and this is based on the range. The range is a measure of the spread of their data, so this measures consistency. Well, we can see that 9A has the higher range. So on average, these students scored 72%. And if we compare this to the mean in 9B, when they scored an average of 68%, we can see that on average, these students in 9A scored 4% more than the students in 9B. So our first conclusion will be that students in 9A scored an average of 72%. Therefore, these students scored an average of 4% more than those in 9B. So that's our first conclusion. The second conclusion is based on a range, and this is about consistency. Because the students in 9A, their range is greater, their results are more spread out. So the students in 9B, whilst they scored on average lower, their performance was more consistent because they've got the smaller range. So we can summarize this by saying that students in 9B were more consistent as they have a smaller range of 9%. Okay? So there's two conclusions. One compares the mean and the other compares the consistency given by the range. So as we progress through the video, we'll be looking at these ideas. So if we look at example 2, we're told that Tom records the average temperature of 3 cities in the UK over 10 days. So we've got Riverton, Oldbury, and Hilltop. We need to state the conclusions we can draw from this data. So we need to look at, on average, which city has the highest temperature, and from a range, which city is most consistent with their temperature. Try this yourself. You can pause the video and come back when you're ready. Okay, so I'll come back if you had a go. So Riverton, on average, have a mean of 12, and this is higher than Oldbury and Hilltop. So we can say that on average, Riverton has the warmest temperature of 12 degrees. So it's a good idea to place this in context. The higher number means the warmer temperature. We could also have said that Hilltop has the coldest temperature on average. And then we can go on to say that this is 3 degrees warmer than Oldbury and 6 degrees warmer than Hilltop on average. But the most important conclusion here is this first one. This is like an extension of that. So our second conclusion will be based on a range. And because Oldbury has the smallest range, this means their data is less spread out. So our conclusion could be that Oldbury has the most consistent temperature given by its lowest range. We could also say the opposite of this, that Hilltop is the least consistent given by its highest range. Okay? So these are our two conclusions. Let's try another example. So in example 3, we're given the data for 6 matches of goals scored for Hawks and Tigers. We need to draw two conclusions from this data. So do you want to try and find the mean and the range for each of these sets of data and then make the conclusions? You can pause the video and come back when you're ready. Okay, so I'll come back if you had a go. So I'm going to show you how to find the mean and the range on the calculator. So to work out the mean, we'll add all the data together. and then we'll divide it by 6. This will give us a mean of 3. And to work out the range, we'll have the biggest value, which is the 5, take away the smallest value, which is the 1. And then for the tigers, again, we'll add all the data together, and we'll divide that by 6. I just need to enter that 0. And we get 4/3, which is 1 1/3 or 1.3 recurring. And then the tiger's range will be the biggest, which is 2, take away the 0. So now we've got our statistics, we can make our comparison. And because the mean number of goals for the Hawks is 3 goals per game, I need to include them units. So 3 goals per game. And I'll do the same for the Tigers. So because the Hawks have 3 goals per game and the Tigers have 1 1/3, so we can say that on average, the Hawks team score 1 2/3 goals more per game. So to work out this 1 2/3, I've just done the 3, take away the 1 1/3. And then using the range, because the Tigers have a smaller range, we know their performance is more consistent. And you can see this from the data. It's either a 0, a 1, or a 2. Whereas the Hawks have a game when they scored 1 goal, another game when they scored 5. So the Tigers are more consistent because they've got a smaller range. So these are our 2 conclusions for example 3. Let's try one more question. So finally, in example 4, we're given that Liam and Chloe record their 10 best sprint times in seconds. We've got Liam's and we've got Chloe's. We need to find the mean time for Liam and Chloe. Then we need to find the range for them both. And then we need to write a comparison. So if you want to give this question a go yourself, you can pause the video and come back when you're ready. Okay, so I'm going to give you a go. So if we begin with Liam, the mean average will be the total of all the times added together, which comes out as 609, divided by the 10 games. So this is an average of 60.9 seconds. The range will be the 64 seconds take away the 58. So 64 take away 58 will give us 6 seconds. And for Chloe, her total is 685 seconds divided by 10, and we get an average of 68.5 seconds per race. And her range will be the biggest value of 68, take away the smallest value, which is 63. So 68 take away 63 will be 5 seconds. So to write our conclusion, we can see that Liam has the lowest average time, 60.9 compared to the 68.5. So we can say that on average, Liam is, and then to work out the time is quicker, we'll do the 68.5, take away the 60.9. So he works out on average 7.6 seconds quicker than Chloe. And then because Chloe has the smaller range, we can say that she'll be more consistent in her times. And these are our 2 comments. 1 comment on the mean and 1 comment on the range. Okay? Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that useful. If you did find that helpful and you want more practice on this, you can download the lessons and the worksheets from my website, mrmathematics.com. I'll leave a link in the description below.